Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to divide by sheep. Let's continue. We're making good progress. The only real concern is that I might be so frustrated by the time I get to the last puzzle of the last world that I won't want to go back and do any more of the puzzles. So, we need to feed this guy first. Then we need to kill 4. Which you probably kill 4 just by cutting it in half. And if we cut it in half, then we would have 2.5 pieces here. So my thought is probably you want to do something like this. Swap this around. Swap this around. So he has a half piece in his mouth, the kraken does. So you would want 3.5 pieces left. That would be just 2 pieces. And then once there's room, you can swap things around. So that's at like 2.5. And so if we were to throw this, this should be wrong. And we've just used way too many elements. So if we just lose 2 sheep, that gives us room to move things around, and we could probably use the wolves to go like this direction to move around. And so there's our first 6. Now the question is, how do we kill 4 things when we have 5 by going through a laser? Doesn't seem doable. Go like that. And see if we were to feed these 2 to make it 3. 1.5 and 1.5. At that point, we would need a whole bunch more sheep. Guess what you can probably do is swap things around, but only by so much. You need this 2 and you need this 4. At least it feels like you need the 2 and the 4 to get that far. But there's then just not enough sheep to do the rest of this. The only thing I could think is maybe split it this way. And then that will kill 1 extra. Be wrong. And then this would give 2.5. So you probably at that point should have that. But I would need 2 extra sheep. Yeah, I just don't see how this is going to really work. Let's add up the entirety of what we need. We need 13 characters. There's 5 plus 4, which is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So effectively nothing can die. These can't be fed and happy. So maybe it is a case where you just get rid of the wolves to start with. And then you swap around. And you feed that. Okay. But now what I would need to do is kill just 4 characters. And I don't see how I'd pull that off. If I split this, it'll take up 4 spaces. So that would just kill 2. Taking up 4 spaces would also kill 4 here. So unless it was just out of order. See, yeah, that goes too far. This does, however, get you to that 2nd star. So it does feel like there's something to that logic. The move, I guess, is just to figure out how can we get this down to 4 at the exact right time, I think. Or how can we possibly get a correct number of spaces. Let's see. 4 sheep going that direction doesn't do anything for us. It would have to go this direction. That would get us 3. Okay. So that's the solution. Got it. Moving on. Okay, do we have any TNT spots? Only here. Which we need 2 pigs, so we need 3 pigs. So we need to figure out a way of getting rid of some pigs that way. Is that right? Have we already screwed up because we need exactly 8 to feed at the end? Which means we need some 1 wolf. There's just no way to really get it down to 1 wolf. Nothing kills a wolf. If I throw a pig here, if I throw a sheep here, it'll just eat and be satisfied. If I throw 3 wolves here, it'll eat these 3 spots and then there'll just be 2. Maybe that's the move? But then we'd have no pigs. So the pigs kind of have to go this way. Which then would probably necessitate something like this. And that won't work. Start over again. This gives us a smaller amount of spaces, so that could be useful. If we did all of that, though, then you did that. It gets you to 3 when we need to be at 2. And that is nowhere close to 8. If we ate that, that protects this area. And then from that we can, I suppose, decide if there's some trick here. Like eat the remaining 2 pigs, or it could have been eat the remaining 2 sheep. And then if I throw a 6 in here, that would get it down to... It kind of doesn't matter. You just throw your pigs here, and then you're at 2. And you go that way. But then there is no way this works at all. Best case scenario, we need 4 here because we have only 2 groups, which means almost with just these 2 platforms we have to figure out a way to eliminate 2 pigs, 2 sheep without eating them. So we've got to get 2 pigs over there somehow. But only 2. So if I throw this back here, I guess that gets you to 2. Right. So then we have 6 remaining. We could throw the pigs right now and be done with it. If we did that, then we have 6 here, and then 1 here, which, yeah, you throw this, then you would have 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. I don't know what else you could do, though. Like, we need the pigs to go this way. We can't feed them to anything. And if I got this down to, say, if I got this down here, we can't do anything. You've got to do that for at least 2 stars. Then we've got to throw this amount here, which gives you 4, and then you just throw this amount, which gives you another 4, which is the right amount. Okay. Just wasn't doing the math at that last step, was I? I have a very weird history with math as far as my education went. Didn't really care for it in elementary school, really didn't care for it at all in junior high either, and I would attribute it definitely to just bad teachers in junior high, although it probably was bad teachers also in elementary school, and so I'm blaming a lot of teachers there, noticeably. 9 years of bad teachers, but you know, you live in a certain area, a certain school system, bad teachers may very well be the case. But then when I got into high school, I actually was in a remedial, like Algebra 1 in high school, because I flunked out or didn't even take algebra in junior high. Dropped the class for some reason, I can't remember why. And the remedial math, perhaps because it was fewer students, and perhaps because the teachers were just better, or the teachers had more time to interact with me, which honestly I was never really looking for teachers to interact with me at all, so that probably wasn't actually the case. But for some reason I really did like pre-algebra, and at the same time I was doing geometry, and I actually really did like geometry. There is a very big difference, I think, between algebra and geometry, to the point where both should be thought of as completely separate sciences and taught as completely separate classes in parallel, instead of having combined math classes that sometimes are geometrically focused and sometimes are algebraically focused. I don't know if things like trigonometry and more complicated maths need to be taught. Maybe they do need to be taught, or at least on an introductory level. So yeah, in high school I really did enjoy doing both the classes at the same time, so I was doing quite a lot of math. And as somebody who wanted to be a video game programmer and did become educated in programming, math is helpful. It's not super necessary in most programming, but you do need to know numbers and understand simplistic equations. You can't be completely illiterate in math. It's supposed to be playing here. I guess if we throw that there, that'll kill 3. And then if we do that, that'll kill 3. And then the question is going to come down to how many sheep can we keep alive? I think the answer is probably far too few. Because you're just going to lose a whole bunch of them. You're going to lose a whole bunch there. You're going to lose a whole bunch there. And so even if I was to throw some wolves here to try and feed the kraken, one of the problems with programming in general is that when you're taught programming in schools, you're given very predefined problems with predefined solutions, which that is just not realistically what you'll be working on in any program. Is it and then you can very quickly determine who is trying to figure out how to solve a computer programming class problem versus somebody who's trying to solve an actual computer programming problem that hasn't been solved before. Calculate the number of primes is a great example of that. Is that somebody will ask you in a school setting to write a program to calculate the number of primes from like 1 to 100 or some maximum amount. You would never do that in the real world. First of all, you could just easily pre-program all the number of primes. Just make a long comma separated values list, a constant array in a program, and then you could just know all the primes. We already know all the primes up to a certain number. There is, to get back to mathematics, actually a a equation you can use to calculate primes that are fairly high but not too high anyways, that you could use to get higher prime numbers, and they never teach in the programming class that that mathematical equation actually exists. It doesn't work forever to infinity, but it works high enough to hit what would likely be the maximum number a computer could ever handle anyways. Or a maximum number that you would ever work with. But yeah, there's almost never going to be a situation where you're making a real world program that you need to know the number of primes or calculate them. You might need to know them, but you don't have. You can pre-render effectively that information. Then your program will look faster than anybody trying to calculate things. But mostly math in computer programs is going to come down to just deciding and running percentages of the layouts of icons and things if you're making a graphical user interface, or simplistic percentages of how complete is your programming, or how complete is a download. So yeah, you might want like 5% of margin on the corner before you have your pause button, and then another 5% of margin of your total width of your screen here, and so you would calculate that. And you might want your buttons to end at 20% from the top row, but that's pretty much most of it. Now, in the core of this game, yes, there's math being done, but really is rather simple math for the computer. At least it knows it wants 8 dead. So how can we get 8 dead efficiently? That won't do anything. I talked too much today and haven't actually... you do that, and then that's how you solve that problem, I guess. And then swapping that isn't an issue, and then throwing that isn't an issue. And so now we've got a safe TNT platform. So then the question is, how do we kill 6 things? If I throw this here, I would kill 3. That kills 1. So can I kill 5 things now? I'm hoping this is right. Okay. So I could move the sheep back here and split them in half, but that would probably be a mistake. So let's just feed those 4. And then, yeah. Just doesn't feel like there's enough room to do everything we need to do here. So we probably need to swap out these wolves and use those. And then the question is, we have what is going to be just 2 from this, no matter what. So I need some way to split this group in half. And there just isn't a way. So we can get like 2 stars. But then you put your 4 here, and it splits that. And then that. And that. Yeah. It kind of doesn't matter what is here when everything's said and done. Like, that has to be the move. And then we need to use this platform multiple times, so that has to be the move. And then we haven't broken up this group at all. The question here is there some way that we could have had these 2 still be around and useful, and then somehow had just 1? The only way I would have 4 sheep at all is this, which will eventually just get you down to 2. Okay. So is there another way to possibly get rid of just 2 of these guys? Well, I am noticing that if I did this, then I have just 1 of those guys left. But then if I bounce that and eat that, that doesn't land quite where I want. But then if I flip this around, that doesn't quite land where I want either. Okay. So, unless this was supposed to be a case where I threw all 4 of these this way and then killed 2. We'll try it, but then I'm gonna give up. Okay. That definitely doesn't feel like that's the right move to do that. If anything, that almost certainly is the wrong move, because we accomplished the exact opposite of what we were trying to do. Maybe it's a case where what I was trying to do, or what I needed to do, is to maybe move these guys this direction first. Not quite that way though. See, that would have been the wrong number of kills. But if we got to this point, and we did that, and then we did that, and then we did that, that's all the sheep gone. So that can't be right. What if it was a case where you're supposed to do this and then swap these around? Didn't do that. Does that really change anything? Like, we need one more sheep dead and one more death. You could do that. But there's no merging here. You can't flip halves on top of halves and glue the sheep back together. So we absolutely would have needed to have 2 stacks. Or we need to have this group of alive sheep stay alive. Which, yeah, maybe that is the move. If anything, though, it seems like probably lasering and cutting the things in half is the mistake. I'm not even going to try to catch up and do any puzzles we've missed today because we're already going so long. Okay. See, that is just 2. So this group and this group both need to stay alive. Which maybe that can be done, I guess. Then okay. This kills 2. How would we kill another 2? Well, what we could do is if we had played a little bit differently, Okay, let's do that. Let's see. Do that, do that. That kills 2. Then you swap that. And you do that. Then you swap that out of the way. Then you do that. Then you put that here. And then swap that out of the way. This is the question, I guess, as far as what's the next solution. Because we need to kill 5. Which we have 5 here. If we just bounce it here. There we go. But we needed to keep those alive, didn't we? Wasn't that the whole point of all of this? Maybe not. No? Yeah, it just seems impossible. It probably isn't impossible. Almost certainly it isn't impossible, but it definitely seems impossible. But yeah, the move here is to try to keep as many things alive, and if I could jump diagonally, that might help. So you do that. This wouldn't kill anything. So then the only way you kill... That's too many. In that case, I give up. I totally give up. Well, whatever the 3-star solution is for that, it kind of doesn't matter. Next time we'll start with Worlds of Ruin. We've got 79 stars. It's like very consistent here. 79 stars here, 79 stars here, 79 stars here. The up and down difficulty level of these worlds seems to be perhaps in part based on them trying to balance out the worlds and putting a very specific number of difficult puzzles in each world. Either that or it's just a huge coincidence, which maybe it is just a huge coincidence. That being said, I still need to be very careful not to over frustrate myself on individual puzzles, because we have 30 more puzzles to go through, and then we'll decide whether it's worth it to try and get 3 stars on all of them. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.